Hello, friends, and welcome to Real Talk. I'm Arthur Perkins. Today, we're looking at 7C, 2nd edition. For transparency's sake, I received a review copy from Gamerati, and man, is this thing beautiful. It's also big. Real big. Easily twice the size of a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition player handbook. This isn't as big a problem if you get the PDF version, but your hard drive might get weighed down by all the ones and zeros. Let's start with the artwork. Varies in style, but is what I'd call period paintings, really vivid. You can tell you're looking at a Napoleonic era sea setting. The inside front cover contains the continent of Thea, fantasy Europe, with all the equivalent nations of France, England, Spain. First 10 pages here set the scene with a short story. It draws you into a setting of swashbuckling, dueling, intrigue, with nationality playing a large part of everyday lives. I enjoyed it greatly. The next 7 fill you in on what to look for in terms of mechanics. My biggest complaint starts and ends here. They don't follow through. The next 100 pages of this monstrous manual describe every nation and subculture within it in great detail. Perfect for a handbook look into the world, but it has nothing to do with how to play the game or make a character. Perhaps it's just my own personal preference, but if the book had opened with how to play, I might have been more drawn into the fiction. That said, character creation is at an interesting point. The game offers extra mechanical subsystems if you want to use sorcery or dueling, and so players who choose those kind of paths will have more work to do up front. If you don't tack on these add-ons, creation is a breeze. Pick your favorite country, what you like to do, and figure out your advantages in life. The next step in the creation process is your arcana. This is an interesting twist I'm not sure I've encountered in a role-playing game before. By picking up from the tarot card-like arcanas used in-game by fate witches to read your fortunes, you offer yourself a boon and a bane, something tied to your sign that can raise you up or cause you to fall. For instance, the war sign allows you to force villains to take an extra powerful wound in response to the first time they hurt you. However, your character is held back by the loyalty of the battlefield. To be seen as heroic, they must stop everything to aid a fallen ally or go back to help a wounded comrade. The final step here is one that parallels the freedom of story that you receive from games like Mistborn or Burning Wheel. The story. Players pick from tropes or pre-written outlines. They work with the GM to name rewards for their end goals and then figure out the steps they need to get there. This gives GMs a clear outline of a player's desire for their character and gives the player's investment in the story, a sign of excellent game design. I'll jump back to this later, but most of the book offers fairly sage and direct advice for GMs on what they can do to help their players. It may not be exactingly outlined as the checklist of things GMs can perform in Vincent Baker's Apocalypse world, but game masters have a guideline that the players help build for them. A storytelling built from this kind of gameplay should contain surprises for the characters, but not the players. Nothing shocking or dismaying, at least, in regards to what some term as GM bullshit. The mechanics of play appear to be easy to learn, difficult to master. When confronted with a task where the outcome is uncertain, and there is a risk or consequence to it, you enter structured play. The game master further describes the scene while the players prepare their actions. Based on this, the players form a pool of their trait dice plus their skill dice, in the form of d10s plus any aid dice. There can be quite a few of these aiding dice, most commonly flair. Describing a cool or awesome action, anything beyond, I hit it with my sword, rewards you with an extra die, a positive feedback cycle for putting more into role-playing and helping write a collaborative story. These dice are rolled, and the dice are put together to form the best combinations of 10 or above. For every 10 plus you can make, you get a raise. One raise allows you to complete the action you intended. Further raises can be used to negate damage, avoid risk or consequence in a scene, or provide opportunities for other players. The last move is a powerful one, and one the game later builds on. While helping yourself can provide small rewards, setting up others for victory can gain you much more than the selfish choice. More teamwork and collaborative play, a theme throughout this game. Taking wounds allows you to begin racking up dramatic wounding points, which let a character provide bigger and badder splashes. Right before a character goes down fighting, they will be at their most powerful. Another great positive feedback loop that increases enjoyment when you engage with the mechanics, similar to the Nova from Mask's A New Generation. The Game Master section, as previously mentioned, recovers basic mechanics and adds in how to create villains or their minions, the hilariously referential Brute Squad. Everything here is exactingly straightforward. Sorcery is a giant mess. Each nation has its own magic, which means where you come from can greatly affect your abilities. And some nations gender lock their magic. This can be a hot topic, similar to those explored in games like Pendragon and Night Witches. Like most magic systems, if a player wants to use it, their game master will need to learn the entirety of it in order to interface with that one person. My instinct here is to treat it like an advanced mode add-on for after I've played a few times and more fully understand. By direct contrast, dueling styles straightforward. They add advantages and disadvantages to actions and further flavor the nationalism, interacting with the story, while interfacing with the fictional system of dueling inside the game world. It basically is like adding feats to a fighter in D&D. Ships were included, I suppose, because it's a game about sailing and piracy and adventure. The vehicle combat seems flavorless and tacked on, and the challenge reward system for sailing appears to favor very long games, 10 or more sessions. Like sorcery, I'd add it to the game after I was comfortable with my players for a while, rather than throw it down at a group of beginners. The book ends with a discussion on Secret Society, another pointless add-on. My understanding is that they were a source book to the original 7th Sea, and are represented here as a sort of homage. They have guidelines for advancement, but some of them are unclear or rather murky. Another add-on system that seems to complicate the functional basic rules. And to be clear, these basic rules set out a fast-paced system of resolution with mechanics that reward committed roleplay and create positive feedback loops. The more your character is involved in the story, the more powerful they become, whether it's from riding the wounds counters or from flare dice. Honestly, I recommend you pick this one up. I'll see you next time.